I'm curious. So, like, you've been through all the different levels. Obviously, you're an elite athlete now. You made it to the NFL, which is a dream of like so many people.
Yeah.
What do you think's the biggest difference going from like high school to college and college to NFL?
High school, right? Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, so from high school, right? It's like, everybody. If you're a good player, you're gonna stand out, right? Like, who's the top dog on the team. For me, I wasn't necessarily the top dog. Like, I was, maybe, put it like this. Florida football is like some of the best football in the entire country. Like, you got Florida, Texas, California, PA is always good. Ohio, Indiana's, got some ball players too. But with Florida, it just seems like everybody around you is always good. And so I wasn't necessarily the best player on my team, but I was the most efficient player. I played receiver at the time, so it was like I stood out by, doing like screens and taking them to the house, or kickoff returns, taking them to the house. Like, that was my mantra. That was how I was able to get a scholarship and then go from high school to, go to Purdue University. And I think the biggest thing is just the work ethic too, right? It's like, you got to have great work ethic. You have to be able to put yourself out there to put the grind in and not hesitate about, or second guess yourself. I think that was the biggest thing for me. I knew that I was a good player no matter what field I stepped on. And that's the mentality that you have to have. Just same thing as you, right? In order for you to have the best business, you have to have that mentality like, I'm the best business owner around here. I do the best work. I create the best things. I create the best pieces. So that's how you have to approach this football too, is like, you have to let everybody know. You don't have to necessarily let everybody know with your words, but your actions have to like show that off. So I was able to showcase that, from high school to college. College didn't necessarily favor, me all that much, just because I went through a coaching change at the end of my sophomore year, and then junior, senior year were kind of hectic for me. But I still had that mentality like, hey, I'm still the best thing on this team, whether you believe it or not. And then it carried over into the NFL. Now, me being cut several times, I was cut 7 times in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. My first 2 years, it was rough. But I did have that mentality of, hey, look, I have to be relentless. I have to go out here and go and chase my dreams, because at the end of the day, I got to look myself in the mirror. I'm the one that, has to be satisfied with the production that I produce. Nobody else is going to be
your own hardest critic.
Yeah, you have to be your own critic. You have to be your own worst critic in that case, and that was it for me. So it's the different speeds of the game. You have high school where you're the best, nobody else is really all that, and then college is like, okay, pretty much the whole team was 4-star, 5-star recruits, 3-star recruits, and they're trying to put on, and then you come into the NFL, it's like it's the top of the food chain. Yeah. Like, everybody's good. So it's a journey, going in year 9, and I'm undrafted guy. I'm blessed, man.
That's a crazy ride.
Yeah,
so I never realized. So you even through high school, you were kind of grinding the whole way. It's not like some guys are kind of gifted, and it kind of like high school's a breeze, college maybe even was a breeze. I think the NFL is probably a little harder, but it might have took to the NFL for it to really become a grind. I feel like for you kind of even had to grind earlier in the career.
Yeah, I had to grind. I mean, same with you, right? You had to grind when you were in basketball. Like, you worked your way up, and then you went to college, and you're like, okay, this is in it. I'm gonna take the business approach. I'm gonna grind, and I'm gonna sleep in my dorm. I'm gonna sleep at the facility that I'm in New York and all that stuff in PA, right?
Yep.
In Pittsburgh, but my thing was like, I had a rough childhood, so my only thing was, okay, I need to get to college. Like, that was my getaway. I need to have a degree. I didn't necessarily look at football as a pure source of outlet. I looked at it as football brought a platform for me to be able to go to college, be able to get a full ride scholarship, so that way I can go and do what I want to do. Live a comfortable life. I have a degree, I can work, I want to be a business owner someday. I don't know what business that was, but you know, at the time it's like, hey, look, I need to go to college. I need to get away. I need to get away from where I'm at because this isn't good for me. And so that's why it was so much easier for me to I wasn't a straight A student in high school, but I was able to get the appropriate grades to go into a university like Purdue, which is like pretty much, you know, an Ivy League in a way. But I just had to use that outlet so that way I can push myself further.
Yeah, it drove you the whole way.
It did.
Yeah.
It definitely did. So, and it was the best decision. I mean, I got recruited by Miami. I got recruited by UCF, USF. The only two schools that didn't want to recruit me were Florida and Florida State. I was getting recruited by Florida, but that was when Urban Meyer basically was like, yeah, I'm not coaching football again. And, you know, I was pretty much that guy that was on the fringe of getting a scholarship and offer. So, I'm glad it worked out the way it did. I mean, I could look back and be like, man, I did the right thing by going to Purdue, getting away, I'm the first person graduating in my family with a degree. Nice. So, yeah, it was amazing. I can't look back and be like, oh man, I wish I would have. I mean, everything happens for a reason. You know, you just got to keep that mentality and stay motivated throughout the process and keep going.